This is Professional Launch with Ricot Aladin, positively connecting the less connected, bridging gaps, and building futures in the community. Professional Launch with Ricot Aladin.
Hello, professionals. My name is Ricot Aladin, and I'm the founder of Professional Launch and the host of the Professional Launch Show on WDOI here. Today, I have a good friend of mine here on the show, and it is his second time on the show. I'm so excited to have Trent Lee here. Trent, please say hello to the Professional Launch audience.
I am excited to be back. Great to hear everybody again.
Wonderful, wonderful. You know, you've been on the show before, and you shared a little bit about yourself, but as you can see, now we are part of a bigger audience. Please introduce yourself for those who may not know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so a little bit about me. My name is Trent Lee. I own and am founder of Compass Leadership Advisors. We help businesses solve problems with people, execution, and exit. And when you put all that together, we just help businesses get better. Corner part of my practice includes a number of national brands. One of those is Vistage. So those are CEO peer groups for business owners, CEOs, chief decision makers in their business. We come together every month. We talk about issues, opportunities, challenges in their businesses, become a think tank, take away blinders for business owners. It's very isolated, lonely at the top, right? When you're the owner. And so we bring some relief from that and help owners get perspective from other owners who actually deal with the same types of issues. So those are really the corners of my practice. So how do I help owners get out of their own way?
Wonderful. And, you know, I remember when you first came on Professional Launch, one thing I admire in anybody, any successful professional is how they help solve problems, how they help others deal with challenges. Now, before we unpacked everything about Compass Leadership, are you working on anything excited right now?
Oh, great question.
Yeah.
I have some top secret projects that I'm working on right now.
Top secret.
That if you have me back in about 60 days, I'll share about those. But just a little teaser within Vistage, we have added a number of resources for our members, and we are not your typical CEO peer group. There's some of those around. Vistage is very unique in that we offer our members annually, we offer them a business evaluation as part of their membership. Because how do we understand where we're at? Are we growing? Kind of need a starting point. So we have a valuation service that we provide for our members. And starting this fall, first to hear it right here, we have strategic planning by Vistage. So a proprietary system. We've brought together the best minds and thinking people out there and developed a strategic planning process for our Vistage members. And again, part of membership, of being part of our peer groups. Very unique though, because it doesn't displace any other businesses. We have business operating systems. People are familiar with EOS and scaling up and great game of business and that kind of stuff. Doesn't displace that. Those are operating systems. When we think about strategery, how do we start thinking about what is it we're actually trying to do, our goal, big picture, and looking out more than 1 or 3 years, but how do we get everybody aligned there? So that is like the exciting thing that is like coming as we speak. We're going to officially roll it out to all our Vistage members in October and do some announcement stuff in September. So really exciting. I've had incredible feedback from our folks that have kind of done the preliminary and been part of that. So super exciting stuff coming from that standpoint. Strategic planning by Vistage.
Wonderful. So Vistage is not a direct part of Compass Leadership, is it?
So Compass is, again, my company, so kind of my local. Vistage is my national brand. So Vistage is largest CEO coaching organization in the world. We're in 30 countries, 43,000 members. We are the answer for small and mid-sized businesses. Those are our members, the people we work with and support. Compass is a facilitator of kind of all things Vistage in Eastern North Dakota and Western Minnesota. And then, so I'm a board chair or a Vistage board chairman. And so I lead and facilitate those groups. And there's about 600 other people like me across the United States, and again, about I think there's 1,200 of us globally that again are here to strictly support business owners and CEOs. We're all former business owners, former executives, CEOs, business presidents in our own respective businesses. So we've been there. We know what it's like to be on top. We've seen those days, those weeks when you're like, oh crap, today's Thursday. You know what tomorrow is? Payroll day. I ain't got enough money in the bank. What am I going to do? You know, can I get a last minute mortgage loan on my house to make sure all my employees get paid? So we understand what that's like. So there's a symbiotic relationship there.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So, how do you founded Compass Leadership. How do you personally approach mentoring CEOs and business owners through Compass Leadership?
Yep, 100%. So mentoring, coaching, you can kind of put them in very similar category. There's some nuances, but I say at the end of the day, it's asking great questions. And before that, really just being curious. Got to have a desire, a curiosity, a willingness to listen. I don't come with all the answers. I've got my own perspective. If members might ask me, hey, what do I think? I normally won't give them an answer because I want to talk them through it first and give them an opportunity to kind of get that through their mind. And same thing with mentoring somebody. Generally most of us have the answer. It's all bound up in this big ball of yarn that with all these other problems and issues. And we're just more just like, how do we like unbundle the knot and help our members or the folks that we're working with, the ones we're helping to mentor, just asking good questions and helping them kind of unprocess that in their head. Because a lot of times we have these great ideas in our head and then we start talking about them through our mouths and we're like, oh my gosh, that was horrible. That was a bad idea. Or even better, when we have got these like, Rico, I got this like idea. I don't know. It seems kind of silly. Maybe I don't think it's going to make sense. And when you start talking through it, all of a sudden you're like, wow, that actually sounds like it might be a really good idea. That might have some legs. Yeah. Hey, what else can we do there? So really being curious and listening are just kind of the cornerstone of just being a great mentor and a great coach. And I would say the last tree, kind of a three-legged stool. The last part is being supportive.
Yep. Yeah. Wonderful. So a big part of when you are at the top of your career, when you are, the CEO, the president, one thing that you might see as a challenge is personal values and with business goals. So how do you help leaders align personal values with business goals?
Well, ideally, they should be aligned. They have to be. If they're not, we'll just say that's disalignment. They can't coexist in a negative way. They can't. You've got to be aligned, business values wise, personal value wise. I mean, they're just. It's an integrity standpoint, and integrity meaning there's got to be co-alignment in that way. Now, happens all the time that our business priorities might not line up where we want to go personally. And unfortunately, that's like, sometimes that's, we kind of chalk that up to culture sometimes. It sounds like this. It just doesn't seem to be a culture fit with the company I'm with today. And that's normally because there's a misalignment between personal goals and priorities and business goals and priorities. And that's okay. Yep. Unfortunately, that means sometimes that, we've got to part ways and for the good of everybody. Because at the end of the day, like, go to work someplace that you love doing, what you enjoy doing. Showing up every day and hating your job and hating your life, you're like, no, we're too short. Find something that you can have a great time and provide great value and just love what you're doing.
Right. So when you work with high executives, people that are higher level, what do you see that they consider the biggest challenge internally within their company? So is there a trend, or I'm saying, is there a trend with business leaders, they'll always come and say, whether it's people issues, whether it's different issues, but what is it that is? I mean, I'm curious because their biggest internal challenge they face when you get
There. So a couple different ways. The flavors of this look different. Whenever I ask a business owner, like, hey, what keeps you up at night? The two most common answers I get, number one is, I'm all by myself. I don't have anybody else I can confide in. I can't talk to my partner. My spouse, doesn't understand the business. Or maybe I work with my spouse and she's my partner, and I can't share that. I can't sit down and just kind of vent with, maybe my director of sales or something like that. Because again, they just, you're all by yourself. Yeah. You're it's that isolation, and where can you go? Everybody needs to have some peer group, and most everybody has some sort of peer group. We might not formally call it one. It might not be a Vistage group or something else. But everybody's got some level of peer group. The key though is there some place that you can go where it's unbiased, it's unvetted. We don't solicit from each other. No one's trying to get in your knickers and sell you something and whatever. But having some place that you can go, that's a safe place. You can be challenged. You're not going to be ridiculed. That's the environment that we try and create in a great peer group. But that feeling of isolation is number one. The second one that always comes up is people.
Yep.
Human capital. It's like, we always joke, we kind of say, every business problem is a people problem. And and so until you can fix that, things don't go away. And it's never air quotes fixed. There's always the next challenge that comes with folks, but because we're all human beings and we can be challenging sometimes.
Wonderful. So there are two: isolation and also people problem. The two biggest challenges. So we're gonna take a short break here. When we come back, we'll continue with the conversation. We'll be right back. We are back. Today my guest is Trent Lee. He's the founder and CEO of Compass Leadership. And Trent, we have, you have been on the platform, on our podcast before. You are a friend of Professional Lunch. You support us. I'm so grateful that you are here today. But you do know that this platform is about mentorship.
100%.
Right? It's about mentorship. And whenever someone is coming on the show, we always tell them that there will be a segment that we talk about mentorship. So why do you believe that mentorship is crucial for business leaders at every stage in their career?
Oh, great question. Well, part of it is networking.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's who you know, not what you know, or at least that's what I've always believed. Because again, it's people that help us get there. But, the other piece is, we can't do it alone. We're human beings. We work better together.
Nobody can. Right?
No one can. We work better together. We work better as teams. And again, when we are able to support each other, it's like a tribe, right? If we're all together and we're working on a common way. And again, how do we help? You ever seen the pictures? How do we help each other? But you ever seen the pictures where you have two climbers on a mountain, and you got the one that's already kind of made the summit, and the other one's kind of reaching down and helping the person up.
Yep.
That's mentorship, right?
Yep, exactly.
We're going to win this thing together.
Yep.
How do we support each other? And so, but it's amazing. Even I see it with my members and my clients where, somebody that I'm just going to say from the outside looking in might be like, wow, this person has made it. They're the CEO, they're the owner of this big company, blah, 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 whatever. But there isn't really a summit per se, because everybody's always got other support and mentorship they can get wherever they're at in their career. I think it's, I was going to say it's more important when you start out. I think it is because we just, there's so much more opportunity, but it doesn't go away.
Yep.
Doesn't go away. that regardless of age. I've got members that are in their 60s and 70s who are, I'm just going to say, they're toward the tail end of their business careers, and they still have mentors or people that they confide and collaborate with that help them in their business. So it's not really an age thing. Kind of, I'd say it's like a muscle. You just got to keep exercising it all the time.
Wonderful, wonderful. So in that sense, so what do you think mentees often misunderstood about what mentorship offers?
It's one-sided, which it isn't. You know, I'm really fortunate that, so I am an advisor, a chapter advisor for the newly formed Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity at North Dakota State University. So my fraternity alma mater, we finally chapter colonized here, or at least have a provisional chapter. So I've got 30 young men that I have an opportunity to mentorship in even a deeper way. And the feeling of gratitude and being able to give back to them is immense for me. And as much as the help that they get from me, and it's even summer, and you think these guys would go away to their hometowns and never hear from them, but like every couple of days I get a text message from one of them. Got one the other day. It was like, "Hey Trent, I've got an interview coming up. What do I need? What should I anticipate?" Or, "Hey, here's a job opportunity that's posted. When do I follow up with them?" You know, and those are kind of direct questions, right? And I'm a little sneaky where I just flip it around and say, well, if you were the one doing the interviewing, how often would you want to be reminded? Or how long is too long in your mind? But those mentorship opportunities, you know, it goes both ways. You know, those guys are getting benefit out of my insight and whatnot, questions I'm asking to make them stop and think a little bit. But I get it the other way too. Because there's things that they ask me that, you know, it's kind of good perspective for me to think back and go, you know, I remember what it was like when I was not employed and out looking for a job, and the anxiety that comes around with, I don't know what's coming next. And, you know, so the mentorship thing goes both ways. And again, I'm more on maybe the mentor side. But the feelings of gratitude and benefit that I get for being the mentor, like pretty special.
Wonderful, wonderful. So now in that case, what advice would you give a young professional seeking a mentor in today's rapidly changing business?
Find somebody that you're comfortable with, and find somebody that, again, this is coming from an executive coach. So somebody that's going to ask you questions, not tell you the way it is. There's always the, you know, here's my perspective, and that's fine. But asking good questions, helping you be a guide. Love Star Wars, kind of geek out on that. Yoda, like the best guide ever. He's the sage. So my newsletter for Compass is called the CEO's Sage. But who's that guide? Who's that person that walks alongside of you? Not necessarily guiding you or pushing you, but somebody that's walking alongside of you that you can be comfortable that they're going to ask you some hard questions. Somebody that's not just going to give the answer, but help you find the solution, not just give it to you. Important piece, super important piece.
So would you encourage leaders to become mentors in your day-to-day interaction with them?
Yeah, again, it goes both ways. I get as much benefit out as the folks that I work with. Again, it kind of sounds selfish, but I can live vicariously through other people and executives. But again, you know, at the end of the day, how do we help the folks that we're mentoring get wherever it is they want to get and where they need to get? Again, it's not my goals. It's not where I want to go or where I want you to go, but where do you want to go and how can I help you do that? And, you know, I heard this quote a long time ago when I was in college. I date myself a little bit, but we had a number of speakers that came through, and I believe this is a Zig Ziglar quote, but resonated with me forever. Help enough other people get what they want, you'll eventually get what you want.
Yeah.
You probably heard that this week, I think,
heard,
Rico.
Yep. Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes, and that's the whole concept of give first, and then just it'll come back around. And I think that is really the key or the cornerstone of being a good mentor. I mean, you're giving back, and the rest of it will kind of work itself out.
Wonderful, wonderful. So before we go to the next question, I want to remind everybody that Professional Launch is a non-profit organization that is building a mentoring platform for college students to connect with experienced mentors in the community. So we heavily rely on guests, on friends, on partners to keep our operation going and to continue to serve those young, underconnected young professionals. And so go to professionallaunch.org/donate to see all the ways you can support us so that we can keep going with our operation. We're going to take a short break here. When we come back, we will continue with the conversation. We'll be right back. We are back today. My guest is Trent Lee. He is the CEO and founder of Compass Leadership. So I've always wanted to ask you, what was the vision behind launching Compass Leadership?
I needed a job.
Okay.
There's more to it than that, but no, I was like a group president for a distribution company here in town, and long career of kind of being the fix it guy. So when we had maybe a new market, or we bought a couple companies and we just hadn't quite put them together yet. So that was kind of my experiences going and kind of fixing stuff or getting into new markets, greenfield operations. And that's how we got to North Dakota, originally from Nebraska, kind of moved all over the Midwest, got up here, had that going on. And then myself and another gentleman, we opened another small business in town here. We had a convenience store and we had a small little pizza franchise. We were Godfather's Pizza franchisee, and we had a little coffee shop. And kind of the next trip on the journey was for us to leave and go run another location, another state. And my wife kind of put the timeout sign up and said, well, wait a second, I like it here. I'm like, well, I do too. And again, still kind of close to home, families back in kind of Omaha, central Nebraska area. And so we were kind of like, don't know what to do. What are we going to do? Whatever. And the company I was with, I ended up working in kind of, instead of moving, decided to travel for several years. So I was kind of the M&A guy. So I was the mergers and acquisitions group. So I would go in and work with businesses that we had bought, that former owner. We typically like them to stay on for a couple of years, if not longer, and as that group president. And so I was the guy that would come in and work with them. And how do we merge these? It was best gig ever, Rico, best gig ever. I had all the responsibility and none of the accountability. So I could like fly in, kind of work with the owner, the former owner, and like, okay, this is what we got to do, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of fly home, and it was great. 200 nights a year on the road. Kids were all, 3 kids, all pretty little. They're all like under the age of 8 at the time. And as you know, my wife is a teacher here in town, and so that poor gal's grading like 127 algebra papers every night and working with 3 little kids, and Trent's out and about. So anyway, in that process, I was approached by Vistage, and they're like, hey, we need a board chair to help us start Vistage here in the Red River Valley. And I was like, what's a peer group and what's a Vistage? And as I started exploring that, I was like, wow, this is like the same thing I'm doing today, but it's my company. So they just provide all the resources, the back end stuff. But it's, I pick the members that I want to work with, and I build a group, and they give a lot of back end support. And so that's how that started. And then as I went on the way, I started getting into other business advising services, like some of my exit planning services and helping with human capital, where how do we eliminate turnover or at least reduce turnover? How do we grow our professionals? And then how do we help businesses get ready for when the owner's ultimately going to retire? I'm not a broker. I don't sell the business, but I help get the business in order and get the most value out of it. That way, when they do go to the market or when they do sell it to internal employees, or if they pass it to the next generation, it's all fine. So that's how that started. And so really out of the crux of that is like, how do I tie all this together and have my brand? And that's Compass. And that's my brand and my umbrella. And I've got a handful of other associates that work with me, kind of fly underneath my flag, my banner. And we kind of help support each other that way. So that's how Compass started. So
wonderful.
Again, kind of by accident.
Wonderful. So you currently have 4 Vistage peer groups, am I right?
I have 3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay, 3. So how do these boards empower CEOs to grow personally and professionally?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. So we have this term called MAGIC.
Magic?
Yep, it's acronym MAGIC, right?
Okay.
Magic, like a magician. So how do we make better decisions? That's the M part. How do we keep from making bad mistakes or stepping in the pothole? I like using an example of walking through a dark room. If you're an adult, everybody knows this. We got Legos all over the floor. The room's dark. You're walking across the floor, and you get the other side, flip on the switch, and you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, there's Legos everywhere. It could have really hurt me if I would have stepped. So I'm the guy that helps walk around with the flashlight, kind of brings visibility into the dark corners. Again, how do we make better decisions, not make unintended mistakes? Accountability. Who holds the owner or the CEO accountable? Kind of hard. There's no other person above. And so having a peer group that's there just 100% to be helpful, that's the accountability piece. How do we grow? When we grow, there are great challenges that come with that, because we can't just, this is our process, we follow it, and it doesn't matter if we have 2 employees or 200 or 2,000 or 200,000 employees, it all works the same. Wrong. There's these levels where as we grow, what you have to do dealing with having 10 employees is different than when you have 20 employees, different than when you have 50. And so how do we navigate that growth and those challenges that come with that? The I, isolation, right? Relief from isolation. We talked about that earlier. And then the C is change management. Change is hard, and some people embrace it more than others. Some run away from it. So how do we help our members work through those changes that are going to come, this VUCA environment where everything's volatile and whatnot. And we just, again, how do we navigate that change in a way that it's in the best interest for everybody?
Wonderful. So working with leaders, what's one transformation that you most love seeing in them when they commit to this kind of advisory work?
Well, there's always love seeing the business growth.
Yeah.
We've got companies that have started with us, and again, this is the group is really the secret sauce. But when you have a company that might be, let's say, hey, might have 50 employees, and maybe they're a $30 million company, which is super respectable. And then, maybe 4 or 5 years later, they're 200 million with 300 employees. Super cool to see that growth and the opportunities that come for the associates in those businesses. So, seeing the people be able to grow and get better, I really, really get excited when we see leadership teams that improve, or individual contributors that grow into bigger roles, and actually watch their careers blossom is super awesome. The other piece, although Vistage is, we are a business organization, but we don't bookend what we talk about or what we deal with just business issues, because we're all human beings, and we all have spouses and family, and we have members that, quite honestly, where do you go when you might be working through a divorce, which is really unfortunate, whether that's with your spouse or maybe your business partner, or we've had members that have children with drug addictions, or disorderly, dealing with situations like that. Where do you go to talk about that stuff, especially in, North Dakota, we're a small community, Fargo, right? High level of confidentiality in our groups, high level of trust. But those are the other things when we have members that bring real personal issues and get clarity and support and empathy from other members in the group that are able to help them. So that's that's super rewarding, and yeah, it's an important part for me.
Wonderful, wonderful. We are gonna take another break here. When we come back, we'll have the last segment of the show. We'll be right back. But I never tried. Oh, we are back. We're having a wonderful conversation here today with my good friend Trent. Trent is the founder and CEO of Compass Leadership Advisors. It's such a pleasure to have you here, Trent. Last segment of the show. I want to, before we start the conversation, I want to remind everybody again that Professional Launch is a nonprofit organization. And what we are doing in the community is providing mentorship, purpose-based mentorship for young professionals who are in college trying to find a career path. And so what that means is we heavily rely on friends, guests, and partners to keep our operation going. So go to professionallaunch.org and find all the way you can support us and support our operation. At the very least, find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and other social media sites, and follow us. We appreciate that very, very much. Now, Trent, I know we have about 10 more minutes for the show. There's not that much, with so much that you have accomplished in your career. There are not enough time for us to cover all of it. But what are some of the Okay, let's skip this question. So, how do you guide leaders to create a legacy beyond their title or their company?
Interesting question. Everybody has to have a goal. What's your vision? The vision component with anything we do, and maybe I'm going to expand here just a little bit.
Sure.
So what is vision? Like what is that? We think about, I use the example of vision as being able to sell $1,000 oil painting over the phone. I think we might have talked about this last time. So vision is being able to take something that is in my head, and how do I convey that in a way that you can see it in your eyes? You can hear what that looks like. Sounds funny, right? You can hear you can hear, smell, and taste what that vision looks like. One of the ways we do that, there's a concept. Cameron Harold is he was a CEO. He's COO of 1-800-GOT-JUNK, if you're familiar with those guys. College pro trainers and whatever. So he's long career in the consulting and thought leadership industry. And he had a concept that he came up called the vivid vision. And that is, at the end of the day, it's kind of a 2 or 3 page document that the executive sits down and writes his vision down in a way that you can see it, smell it, taste it, feel it, and understand it. And giving that to every employee when they start, and revisiting it on a regular basis to really convey that vision, or what you're trying to accomplish. Because so often the difference as business, we talked about these stair steps where we get these glass ceilings. As a business grows, they get stuck. And one of the areas they get stuck is, how do we go from just being I'm the owner and this is sort of my job, which there's nothing wrong with that, to being something I want it to be a little bit more than that. I want there to be a legacy. I want something to that's going to go on beyond where I am, or maybe I just want some additional value that I can sell someday. But that vision component, we aren't able to make that crystal clear where everybody else can share that same view of what that big oil painting looks like. You get stuck. And so we use a number of different tools. That Strategic Planning by Vistage is one that does an incredible job. The Vision is another one. But at the end of the day, how do we get that picture really, really clear and shared it with everybody?
Wonderful, man. When you think, see, this is why I love doing the show. I love having people like you on the show, because those conversations make me think a little deeper. Right. So think about, when I think about the kind of support that I have received in the community, I really doing this to help young college students find a career path, you know, I want, even in a small way, leave that little piece out there, make that little path for others, because of the fact that so many great folks I have the opportunity to have those kind of conversation, and this is somewhat of an investment in me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm articulate that right, but this is those conversations. They really kind of build me up. They really help me, in my day to day thinking deeper about my future and
Yeah.
my legacy.
And I think what you're doing here, Rico, is incredibly valuable in our area.
Thank you.
That's why I love what you're doing, and it resonates with me. And we think about the opportunity for businesses to be kind of that co-sponsor
Mm-hmm.
on a mentorship standpoint. Human capital is hard.
Yep.
Finding people is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping people is hard. There's a lot of things we can do to facilitate that. I think one of them is what you're doing here.
Yep.
You are like a great arrow in any business's quiver that they can use from A, giving back to the community,
Mm-hmm.
B, having a platform where you can get, like, for instance, my employees teed up and working with you as mentors for folks coming into the job market. Kind of goes both ways. Number one, I'm giving back. Mention that. Number two, I'm investing in my employees in a standpoint that they can get better. Part of their professional development of my team working with those folks coming in. And then also, kind of selfishly as a business owner, I can look at this as like, maybe it gives me a little glimpse into some new talent that might be floating around, and maybe gets me to the front end of the line, where I can have a better idea of some of these great college students, and not necessarily just college students, but folks coming into the workforce, whatever their age, and gives me an opportunity to kind of get to the front of the line with them, and maybe have a chance to develop a relationship with some of my employees and help them in there, and maybe I have a first crack at those folks coming to work for me, for my company.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that, Trent. Appreciate that. So we have about 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes for the end of the show. You got 60 seconds of it to answer the last question. If you could give one piece of parting advice to every business leader listening to this show right now, it could be mentorship, it could be growth, it could be legacy, what would it be?
Every business needs three things. If you don't have it, go get it. Number one, have an executive coach. You need to have somebody that can challenge you, that you're comfortable with, that's going to ask you the hard questions, and it's going to do it with love and in a way that they want you to succeed. Number two, you have to have an operating system. How do you run your business? A structured process, a way that you run your business, not a computer system, but these are our processes. This is the way we do our goal setting. This is the way we hold people accountable. This is how we find our folks, all that kind of stuff. And the third one, get a peer group.
There
Go
you go.
find one.
Wonderful. Oh my goodness. What a wonderful show we have today, Trent. Thank you so much for being on the show today again.
Thanks for having
being on
me.
the show again. Hopefully this is not the first time. I want to have folks like you on the show as often as I possibly can, because you have good stuff. You have a lot to share, and others have a lot to learn from you. So thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Now, this is the part that I tell you. It's up to you to make today a great day. Have a great day.